Loomers, it's Michelle from Rainbow Loom. Today we'll be learning how to make this tech wrap and book strap from the Loom Your Life project kit only sold at Target stores. All of the materials we will be using today come from this kit. This is a beginner level project. It's basically like the triple single bracelet but a little bit wider. Let's quickly go over everything in this Loom Your Life kit. I have already opened this also, they're kind of just jumbled together, but you get alpha beads, C-clips, Q-teak charms and G-clips to hang them. Also, all of the charm designs are reversible with one side having glitter on it. Then you get some gem beads, hanging charms, plastic needles to help place beads on rubber bands, some U-clips and phone tethers, and bag clips. A lot of these are project specific and there are a lot of project instructions, plus these pages are all double-sided. There's a lot of fun projects in here that I'll be making video tutorials for. And then you also get the 2 Mega Mighty Looms. These are obviously wider than your traditional Rainbow Loom. They have 7 columns of pins and have 3 more rows of pins than the original. And they also snap together horizontally and vertically. For today's project, you can put the looms together vertically to make a longer tech or book strap, but I'm just going to be using one loom for time's sake. You also get 3 hooks, 2 of the new updated hooks, and then a double-sided bead hook. And lastly, you get 4,000 bands in 5 colors. Now let's go over the materials needed for the tech wrap and book strap. For the loom, I'm using a single Mega Mighty Loom. You can use 2 for this, especially if you're making the book strap. To put them together, just line them up so that the pins are facing the same direction. Then there are some crescent-shaped hinges that you'll put the other loom on, and then you can press them together once they're aligned. But again, today I'm just using one loom. You will also need a hook. There are 3 hooks included and you really could use any one of them. If you're making the tech wrap, then you will need at least 1 gem bead, but if you're making the book strap, you don't need it. I will be adding a couple extra beads and charms to my creation though, but they're not necessary. If you are making the book strap, you will need a C-clip, and if you're adding any Q-teak charms for decoration, then you'll need a G-clip. To place on the alpha beads and gem beads, we will be using this plastic needle as well. And then obviously you will need some bands. Speaking of bands, let's go over the band count. This depends on how long your extension is for the book wrap and if you're using 1 or 2 looms. But this tech wrap here, made using 1 loom, uses around 114 bands in total if my math is correct. Okay, let's get started laying down the bands. I'm using a single Mega Mighty Loom, but if you're making the book strap, you can use a second loom as well. Make sure that your pins are oriented such that they make a U shape, and we can see a little arrow at the bottom of the loom with the number 1 on it and some rubber band loops to remind us that we're placing the band starting from this side. I will be making this exact design with beads. Locate the center column of pins and we will place our first band down vertically. Then we will place more bands down all the way to the left and all the way to the right to make a V shape. This V shape will be mirrored at the end of our looms, but in this middle part we will be placing bands down vertically on each column of pins almost to the end of our loom. I'm always starting from the left and then moving on to the right, but you can also just do an entire column on its own before moving on to the next one. Just make sure that you are always laying the bands down from the bottom of the loom to the top of the loom and that you are not skipping around within the same column. Also keep in mind that we are mirroring the V shape at the end, so we will place the bands down at the end of the loom in an arrow shape. I'm going to be adding 6 gem beads in total, 3 on this side and 3 on the opposite side. So to do that, get your plastic needle, a band, and a bead. Place the bead onto the plastic needle, then pinch the rubber band and place it through the hoop of the plastic needle. Then, pull the bead onto the rubber band. You may need to adjust it so that the bead is centered on the band. Now we can place it onto our loom the same way that we've been placing the bands down so far. Then I'm placing a regular band down and then adding more beads. So put the bead onto your plastic needle, pinch the rubber band and put it in the loop of the needle, and then pull the bead onto the band. One more time together, place the bead on your plastic needle, pinch the rubber band and put it through your needle, and then pull the bead onto your band. Keep in mind that for the tech wrap, you will need to add a single gem bead on the third to last vertical rubber band in the center column of pins. I'm going to speed through this a little bit until I get to that point. For the design I'm making, I want it to look pretty symmetrical, so I will be adding the gem beads to the other side of the loom as well. One big change coming to Rainbow Loom is that we're going to be rolling out what we're calling Rainbow Loom Premium Bands. So these are more durable bands that you can use for projects. I will say that the Rainbow Loom Treasure Box bands tend to be very durable, but these are on another level. It's even hard to break these by hand. So just keep in mind that some of our future kits and also some rubber band packs will start including these stronger bands. And for the kits, there will be some sort of call out on the packaging that says Rainbow Loom Premium, just so you know what kind of band quality you're getting. At this point, we are going to start making the arrow shape to mirror the V shape that we did in the beginning. So these are the last vertical bands that we will place on the first column and last column, and then we're going to continue building up this arrow shape. So the last bands are on the third to last pins on the first and last columns. And then in the next V-shaped row, if you're making the tech wrap, you will need to place your gem bead on the third and fourth to last pins in the center column. I placed a lot of beads everywhere, but if you're making the tech wrap, this will actually be the only place where you need to put the gem bead on. And then again, these are the last vertical bands that we are placing on the second and sixth column of pins. So we will continue building up this arrow shape here. I have finished placing down all of the vertical bands now, and this is what my loom looks like. Starting from the right and left sides of the loom, I'm placing the bands down going to the center. I'm first doing the right side before moving on to the left side. Let's add a cap band now, so I'm taking a band in my hook. I'm going to place the band onto the back of my hook and twist it once onto the hook so that there are 2 loops of the rubber band. I'm placing the back of my hook onto the last center pin and then sliding the cap band onto the pin. This is what it should look like on your pin. You can see that there are 2 loops of the same rubber band here, and then below there are 3 bands. Now we're going to take some of the bands and place them so that they can hold our creation together. These bands won't really be visible from the outside, so you can use whatever bands you'd like. I'm going to be adding beads during this step as well, and I will be spelling out the word star. First, we're going to add a triangle-shaped double loop band at the ends of the loom. So I'm taking a single band and stretching it out a little bit first, then double looping it like what we just did with the cap band, but this is a slightly different method. And then we will stretch it into a triangle shape like so. Make sure that this band is centered on your loom. Then we will do the same to the other side. This time I'm double looping the band on my hook and placing it on the loom. Then stretching it into a triangle shape. And again, make sure that this band is centered on the loom. Now we're going to place horizontal bands stretching across the entire loom now. We are only going to be placing these where the design is 7 columns wide, so not including the arrow or V-shaped parts of the creation. Let's first push down our bands to make room for more bands. I'm going to add a couple horizontal bands before I start putting down the alpha beads. So I'm first stretching the band a little bit and then placing it from one side of the loom to the other. And we will do this for every row that is 7 pins wide. I'm going to start putting some alpha beads down as well, so I'll be placing down a band with a bead on it and then skipping a row and then placing another one down until there are no more alpha beads left. I'm going to speed through the rest of this a little bit. We are now done placing all of our bands, and this is what my loom looks like. We're going to turn our loom around 180 degrees and start the looming process. There should be an arrow with the number 2 on it along with a little icon of a hook, and the pins should make an N shape now. We will first loom the V shape here, starting with the center pin and going outwards, ignoring the little double loop triangle bands and the horizontal bands. So place your hook into the center pin, pull back on the 2 loops of the cap band, and grab the next band, which should be the band on your right if you followed what I did. And then we will continue looming the diagonal bands all the way to the right, making sure not to grab any other bands. After looming those 3 bands, go back to the center pin, pull back on the cap band, and grab the next band, which should be going diagonally to the left, and we will do the same to the left side. Remember again that we are ignoring the triangle double loop band and the horizontal bands. Those will not be loomed. And now we can loom all of these vertical bands. When you reach into the pin, make sure that you're only grabbing one band here. And we will do this for all of the vertical bands. So again, you can skip around between the columns, but within the same column, loom the bands in order from bottom to top. Once you reach the band with beads, it's the same process as what we've been doing, but the gem beads are a little bit big, so they might be a slightly tighter squeeze getting your hook into the pins. I'm going to speed through this a little bit, just remember to stop once you get to the arrow or V bands again. I have just loomed all of the vertical bands, and this is what my loom looks like now. Let's loom the arrow bands, so I'm starting with the left side and looming the bands to the center pin. Then I'm going all the way to the right side and looming the bands to the center. We're almost done. We can loom the center vertical band now. If you are making the tech wrap, we're going to make a slip knot using the last band that we just looped, so use your hook to grab the bottom layer of the rubber band and pull it off the pin. You can tighten the slip knot a little bit and then remove your creation from the loom and then tighten it further. If you are making the book wrap, we're going to add a C-clip to the last band here and then make an extension. I'm sliding the C-clip onto the 2 band loops here, and then after making sure that it's secure, we can start removing our creation from the loom. I'm first readjusting some of the beads though. I'm also trying to be a little more careful here while removing the creation from the loom by using my hook rather than pulling it off the loom, but I do pull it off a little bit. If you added some beads to your creation, you may need to adjust it a little bit, but this is what it should look like now. If you are making the tech wrap, I'm going to show you how to use it. I have these earphones here that I'm going to fold up and kind of sandwich together. Then take your tech wrap and put it around the earphones, using the gem bead and the slip knot band to hold everything together. For the book wrap extension, I'm going to make it so that it fits around this stack of cards. So take your loom and orient it so that the pins make a U shape, and then there's a number 1 at the bottom. Then we can make an extension by taking single bands and making a single chain. I'm doing this until I reach the end of the loom, and for you it should be however long you want your extension to be. After we're done, we're going to turn our loom around 180 degrees so that the pins make an N shape, and there should be a number 2 at the bottom of the loom. We're going to put our creation on the very first pin here, and we can also take off the C-clip. We're just going to loom the bands forward, and if this is a little bit too confusing for you, linked in the description is an in-depth video on how to make an extension for your creation. On the last pin now we can add our C-clip again and remove the single chain from the loom. Then we can connect both sides of our book wrap. This is what it looks like around the cards. But we're not done yet. This needs some more bling. So I'm taking a Q-Teak charm and a G-clip, turning the cutique charm so that it's flat, and putting the G-clip on. Then I'm hooking it onto the single chain that we made, and our book wrap is complete. Thanks for watching this tutorial on how to make this book wrap and text wrap. The Loom Your Life kit includes so many fun projects, so if you like what you see, head on over to your local Target store or target.com to check out this kit. And if you already have this kit and you made it this far into the video, let us know what your favorite project is. And if you make this, tag us at this username and use the hashtag Rainbow Loom so that we can see your creations on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We also host weekly giveaways on our Instagram called our Loom Star of the Week contest, so be sure to follow us there. For the month of April, we are giving away this huge prize bundle every single Friday, so enter our contest for a chance to win these items. We're going to be increasing our upload frequency in the next few weeks, so I'll see you in the next tutorial for a Wrap It Loom bracelet.